What were you thinking going out there when they told you?
I mean, it was so fast. It happened. Like it happens. I mean, there was 2 outs and he swung at the first.
Oh yeah, so 2 outs you were running.
And I was just. I thought I was going to blow out. I thought it was running the slowest I've ever ran in my life.
Is that the fastest you ever ran?
I don't know. Probably not.
What did that moment feel like? Was it just
nothing?
Pure tunnel vision?
Ridiculous.
That was a sick pop-up slide, bro. Like in the playoffs this year, they showed Trey Turner sliding in, and like it was all smooth when he slid in the home plate. Right Fisher slid in and was like,
2 on, 2 out. 10th inning. That's in the air to left. Here comes Fisher. Throw by Ethier. Astros win.
We count the paper in A-Sound. We count the paper in K-Town. Finna hit LA now. Then we're making our Bay rounds. After that, we head east. Count the paper in Philly.
we got great guests here today. We got Paul Wall, the fucking Iceman. We got Korey Lee. Got D-Fish. And then your host, just the idiots. Anyway,
can we get an introduction or no? We got Alex Bregman, Tyler Straub, and me, Brian Lima. We in here.
I built the gym.
No, we got, so Fish was my minor league roommate together, right? We were roommates through the minor leagues. We made all the stops together ever since I was drafted. We were in low A, high A, double A, triple A, and then we made it to the big league same year.
That's right.
Won the World Series. He scored the game winning run in Game 5 of the World Series. So it was kind of like, damn, we came up together. I got a question for both of you guys, actually.
What do you do?
So you're in the minor leagues right now. Mm-hmm. You're chasing the big leagues, and I want to get into this in a second. But Paul, what are the minor leagues of music? Like, what's that process like?
For me, the minor leagues is the underground. And, with so many paths to being a successful musician, there's a lot of avenues. You could be a SoundCloud rapper. You could get famous by doing a TikTok song. You could, somebody could discover you like Beyonce, and all of a sudden now she posts you, and then all of a sudden you're famous. Or you could, those are all the quick ways to make it where you don't have to go through the minor leagues. And for me, a lot of times when the artists go that route, they miss out on developing more of their skills and more of their things. So for me, I came up in the minor leagues of rap, which was the underground. I was on the Swisher House rapping on mixtapes with Michael 5000 Watts, OG Ron C. And the underground circuit was our minor leagues, where we rap on other people's beats, and it would just be freestyles, and it would allow us to see the game in another perspective of not only just writing and recording rhymes, but when I went to Swisher House, I also did distribution with the CD. So I'd be driving to Dallas, San Antonio, Louisiana, Oklahoma, just everywhere, just dropping off CDs, orders for stores, but also just out in the streets. Hey, what's up? You listen to Swisher House? Hey, what's up? You listen to Swisher House? Just gaining fans one by one. And some people knew who we were, some people didn't. And if they didn't, I saw that as an opportunity to introduce myself, to gain a fan. And if they did know who we were, it was kind of like, oh, what the hell y'all doing out here in the middle of Mississippi? Because a lot of people didn't do that.
It's the same thing with like Korey.
Same grind.
Because like Korey right now, he's playing, and he's not just playing for the AAA Sugarland Space Cowboys, new team. He's playing for 30 teams out there, right? That's what they always told us when we were in the minor leagues. Every single day, you're playing in front of 30 teams.
You don't realize that when you're playing and you're developing, you're doing that your entire time. It's like you're doing that when you're in high school, going for college. You're getting seen by all these college scouts, and no one really pays attention to that. So it's like what he said. It's the underground stuff. It's the stuff that we do every morning. It's the stuff that you go in the cage. Like that's the work that nobody sees that gets us to this point and where you're at, where Fish is at, where I'm at, getting there. Same thing with Paul. It's
in that minor league, that's a grind.
It's crazy.
Like, that's a crazy grind. And I think it's come to light more, especially here in the last year, like with what the Astros did, like providing housing and stuff. I mean, prior to that, you had guys, 5, 6, 7, 8 players in high A, double A, living in 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartments.
It's the same thing like summer ball. Like that's why I always say, like, I love guys that go to college. Like, you go to college, you do summer ball, and you experience the grind. You experience, like, I went to the Northwoods. The Northwoods is known to be hell. It's supposed to be terrible.
That's northern, California, right?
It was in, like,
or Illinois.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin, Illinois. That's right. Yeah.
Terrible,
Yeah.
terrible. It's the exact same thing as minor league. So it's like whenever people are talking shit about that, it's like, dude, that's what you got to get through to really get to where we want to be.
Yeah. Everybody sees the game under the lights.
Yeah.
Everybody hears the song on the radio.
Yep.
But ain't nobody know what people have done to get to that point.
That days in, you're saying that in Kentucky with raccoons running through the middle of it.
Now, that's minor leagues and it's indie ball too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indie ball same way. Like when Beck was playing up in Chicago, he was sending me pictures of the hotel room. Like, bro,
You gotta
love
Yeah.
it.
you
gotta
Paul, I'm
love
telling
it.
you.
It's
I got some horse.
You guys, if you can't figure out like nothing you do is gonna be like exactly what you expect it to be. There's gonna be a little bit of suck. Like it's something's not gonna be okay, and you're not gonna like doing it. But the only thing that I think really matters is finding the appreciation of the things that aren't fun.
So like I asked you guys, everybody here. So what do y'all think about the stories about like the minor leaguers that have been in the in the minor leagues for like 12, 13 years and they stick it out and they finally get that call up to the show? Like what do you think about that? Like those guys like dedicated.
absolutely.
That, to me, that's the dream. That's what it's all about. Because you see the people who really dedicated to it. Because like you said, when people get up there, all they see as a fan, you just see the person at bat. And even if it's your first time seeing them or your first time hearing a song on the radio, you don't know what it took to get there. And you know, people don't see that. They just see, you know, that one particular aspect. But to me, that story is what it's all about. That's when you really believe in somebody, you root for them.
Dudes breaking into the league at like 33.
We saw that with the
find it,
Never
Nationals.
gave
Yeah.
up.
Who's the dude with the Nationals? That was an unreal
Yeah,
story.
that's
bro.
the one that I was thinking about. I just couldn't remember what team it was. There was a guy that broke into the league. He was in the minors for like 12 years. Finally came up at like 32, 33 years old.
There's a pitcher I faced all year. He plays for the Padres. He's 30, 34, making a comeback, and he's still grinding. He was in Double A all season. Think about it. He's got two kids that are older than me.
Yeah.
Now I'm 23.
Yeah.
And he's been through the ring already. Now he's coming back to Double A and like playing again. So it's
And
like
so-
he enjoys being in that situation, which is
And then look at the indie ball guys. Those dudes are just hoping a low A team sees them play.
You know, they'll go to
Like, they'll do-
AZL or Florida League.
Yeah.
They don't care. They just
So the
play
next step is then that transition, right? The transition from minor league baseball to big league baseball. What would you tell Korey?
I mean, I think all of us too. It's like in anything that you do, and kind of goes along with what we're saying, is like we all appreciate what we do and whatever we do, but like how easy is it to keep that same drive, that same appreciation, that same desire to wake up early, that same desire to be in the studio late. Like it's easy to do it early, and it's easy to do it when you're just about there, when you think you're going to get there, but then an injury happens, COVID happens, short seasons, like so many things that just keep entering your mind. That's like, is this going to happen? Am I going to keep doing this? Am I going to keep going? But it's like nobody in anything that we do is like, I'm doing this because I think it's good. We all do something because we saw somebody else do it. Right. Somebody else was doing it when we were young, and we were like, that's the way I want to do it.
And you
or we're
say-
around people now, and we're like, you see certain people, you're around certain people, you play with certain people, and you just know why they're different.
You see with like what Brady said too. Like when Brady retired, you see what his message to everybody was like, I can't commit to giving it 100%.
Right.
I can't be all the way in. Like the way you're all the way in right now in AAA to get to the show, if you want to be as successful as you humanly can, you have to have that like
You gotta stay.
I'm 100% in.
100%.
So like
And if you give 80%, then you're not gonna see 100% of your potential. And that's to me, I see this in hip hop all the time, and in sports, where someone has so much talent that they don't put in the work and effort that they might put in if they didn't have all the talent. And since they didn't put in enough, 100% work in talent, because they don't need to put in the work or the effort. They don't develop themselves to get to that next type of level that they're capable of. And and with hip hop, it's all the time. Somebody is just really talented at putting words together, or they have some type of spunk or pizzazz about them that a light that shines that attracts other people. But they feel like they're better than other people. They don't treat other people with respect, or they don't treat their craft with respect. And they, some people do that. They just get fucked up and drunk and go in the studio and write, and it works a couple times, and then to them that's the formula to make it. Whereas they're not doing actual research on topics or on different styles or wordplays or production or things that they could be doing to improve themselves, or even after the song is recorded, the type of work that it really puts into market a song or promote a song. Like any of our songs that were hits, it took us a year. You're pushing it for a year, and then
Is it easier right now with social media to push stuff like with TikTok? Because I see all these different trending like.
See, that's how the game will fool you, because it'll let you think it's easy because there are so many avenues to do it, and some of these things, there's not an algorithm to decipher or what will make it. There's not a formula for some of because some of the things you can really think, okay, this gonna be one. We got the TikTok campaign. We got whatever we're gonna do. And then you do it and it don't work. And then something else you just barely put any thought into, blows up and goes viral. And it's like, well, wait, so there is like a little strategy to it, but being that there's so many ways to make it now, people just go the easy, quick route, where they just go the TikTok route. And they disregard the actual people in real life that you're meeting when you're going to your Starbucks, or just treating people with respect everywhere you go. To me, that's where I think a lot of people fall short, where they don't. When you're at that edge, like you say, bro, when you're about to get called up to the show, when you're giving it your all, when you got that spunk every day you wake up, everything you're dedicated, you just putting in that grind where you love it, then you make it, and some people, that's it for them. All right, I made it, I'm cool. Keeping that gas going, that's keeping that spunk.
It's just staying consistent. Staying consistent. That's all I hear. It's literally, I see that with Fish every day. I see that with you every day. It's coming and going to the gym, going to the cage, and it's more than that. It's just honestly being consistent.
Yeah, especially in baseball, it's a game of failure, right? Yeah. You succeed 30% of the time. 28% of the time, you're a Hall of Famer. Yeah. So I go back to Paul, like when go back to your young days, like I told you before we got on camera, that I was banging Get Your Mind Correct. Yeah, you were with Chameleonaire. Yeah. I was a 12-year-old kid, so go back to that. I bet there were days when you were grinding, busting your ass, going to the studio every day, but there were days where you just weren't good.
Oh yeah.
Like what kept you going? Like Korey talked about being consistent. Was it just continuing to push through, or?
To me, in the early days, being a professional rapper wasn't a real consideration to me. To me, my goal was to be a DJ. I saw that as a real career path possibility, but being a professional rapper was like, oh, it's impossible. So from the outset, from the very beginning, I always, any opportunity that came my way or any success, I didn't take any of it for granted. I always was very appreciative and just grateful that I had it, because I didn't think it was possible. So in the early days, definitely, it'd be having Chameleonaire with me that would be a great start, because I had a great, a great batting cage partner. You know what I'm saying? My sparring partner.
Yeah, your VP partner.
He would help make me better. I'd help make him better. And then coming up in the Swisher House along with Slim Thug and a lot of other greats, as well. But to keep it going, because there's definitely, and the toughest thing in hip hop too is that there's songs that I have my personal favorites that y'all might hate. So and I learned that this is something I learned from the very beginning. The songs I like aren't the hits. So shout out to my boy T. Ferris. I had somebody who could oversee and save me from myself and say, nah, this the hit. And I'd say, nah, hit that song. And he, nah, that's the hit. And then it's still tipping,
You didn't like that?
Man,
come on, man. That's like one of the most iconic songs.
Now you see your Don coming up.
Bro, I love it now.
Are you serious? You didn't like? Bro, that's the most iconic, one of the most iconic songs in Houston, Texas. Man, and at the Third Coast, like that and "Wanna Be a Baller" to me are the two.
What song did you think was the hit in that?
You really didn't like that?
It was the song, because when I wrote to that song, it was 8 beats on a CD. And the CD boombox about the size of this bowl, and so there's no bass. So because if there's bass, it's gonna skip the CD. So you could barely hear anything on there. I didn't like it. All you hear is the and I'm like, man, what is this? So what song I like? Whatever it was, 1 through 7 were the ones I liked.
So anything but Still Tipping.
Yeah, I was not feeling it, but I still rapped to it because I was hungry at that time. At that particular time. me and Kareem went our separate ways. So T. Ferris gave me an opportunity, and I rapped on every beat he gave me. So I didn't like it. I was like, I don't like it. He's like, you don't have to. And I said, no, I want to. You know, I'm not gonna miss any workout. You know, it don't matter if I want to or not. And he's like, all right, well, just freestyle on it. Freestyle, and it
I came up same way, like always thinking like, I always thought I was gonna be a baseball player, but I was like, I didn't know initially, like when I was like 12, 13 years old, if like, maybe my parents are just like telling me I'm good, whatever. But like in the back of my head, every night I have this same dream, and it'd be like, I'm like hanging out with Mark McGuire and A-Rod and Sammy Sosa. I'm growing up like right during the like the home run race and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So like, as I'm growing up, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be one of these guys. Like I'm gonna do it. There's just something like, there's something up there that's saying like, hey, this is what you're meant to do. You're meant to play in the big leagues. But my parents pushed me always like, hey, you can do anything you want to do. And I feel like a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't have like you can be anything you want to be. I think a lot of people, there's like limits set on kids when they're younger. And like when you're like, they're dreaming about what they want to do when they grow up, there's like a limit like, hey bro, you're not going to be able to do that.
Parents, a lot of times parents or people around will push a child to go in one direction for something they're good at. If it's sports, it's being an athlete, and they have it focused on their goal. My goal is to be a professional athlete, and anything else is a failure. Or my goal is to be a professional rapper or singer or whatever, and anything else is a failure. Whereas you might be a great athlete, and then something happened, and you turn into an incredible, amazing manager or sports agent or some other type of something that's in the same field of, you know, being a professional athlete. Same with being a rapper. Man, all the managers used to be rappers at one time. All the DJs, producers, at one time they were rappers. And I'll meet that, and you'll see somebody and they're like the CEO of Def Jam, and it's like, wait a minute, you used to rap? And you'll see like a video of them in college rapping, like, damn, everybody used to rap. But if they would have only kept their possibilities and options as being a rapper or a failure, then they would have never become the greatest CEO in hip hop.
What were your parents like? Were they like, hey,
They let me do whatever. They let me. It was wide open. I had an older brother that played.
like even before you were like good?
Before they were open to me, I was a sports guy, sports freak. Played football, played soccer, played baseball. As said before this, played water polo. I did that legitly in high school just because it took time away from baseball, and you need that. You need time away from what you really think you're gonna do, because then it just broadens your horizons in everything. You're gonna meet new people. You're gonna try different things, and you might like it. I love water polo, and like I still wish I could still play, but obviously baseball was my calling, and I knew that. But I think kids now, like what you were saying, try to put their head down to something so much at a young age, it messes them up.
They get burnt out.
When they're 12, man.
12 years old, they're selling out as a PO only.
Yeah,
You see 12-years throwing weighted balls all the time.
I see it.
It's
Straw.
pointless.
You said you're trying to get them to commit
They're
at 12 years old?
12 years old.
Yeah,
It's
like
wild.
82 years old, or 82 miles an hour. So
Yeah.
what are you doing?
I coach 12U Banditos. Yeah, and I got parents that come to me, opposing players' parents that come to me and ask, hey, can we join the team? We just want to pitch. I'm not about to make a 12-year-old kid a PO.
No.
Like, that's bullshit. But I had a kid this past weekend. We won a tournament. The kid hit 75 from 50 feet away. And like, it's just crazy. And these kids play year round. There's no breaks. There's no, I have very few players that play multiple sports. And I'm the kind of guy that encourages play multiple sports. Because like you said, Korey,
Absolutely.
it widens your horizons. And if you do love baseball that much and you're playing other sports, you're going to miss it that much, and you're going to want to grind to get better, so that's all you want to play later on.
I disagree.
Okay.
I say,
You want one sport only? Or
bro, if you're passionate about one thing, lock in on it.
even at 12 years old?
Hell yeah, if
Yeah.
you know what you want to be when you're 12 years old, be the best you can possibly be at it. But, I mean, most people don't know exactly what they want to be
Yeah.
at 12 years old. You know what I mean?
I think the hardest thing, and one thing we haven't, none of us have said yet, there's so many people telling you can't do it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing.
What
Being
were
anything,
you-
being a
what about
rapper,
you?
being
When you were coming up, did they
an
say-
athlete. What do you want to be? That's what, oh no. Like that's really, you really think you're gonna do that? Like you think that's possible? And I think it's where you grow up too. I mean, think about it. Being in Houston, you go around Houston, like you see people, you see people work. You go to the batting cage, you see people there, and it's like these kids think it's possible. You grow up in a town, like I grew up in a tiny town in Pennsylvania.
They're like,
And it's like, dude, nobody,
Like you're never gonna make it out of
Nobody
here.
comes out of there, and it's like, oh, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to play baseball? Like, I mean, I have it. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a baseball player. When I was in like grade school, like 1 through 5, and I was like,
You might as well say you want to go to Mars.
exactly.
Yeah.
The team. Well, oh,
for real.
okay, yeah. You want to ride a spaceship?
I said I want to
cool.
play varsity in 8th grade. It's allowed in New Mexico. Like you're allowed to play varsity baseball in 8th grade, and I was looked at like,
Yeah. So think about it, bro. People just want to keep saying like, you can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't do it. Nobody else did it. What makes you think you can do it? You
What's
realize how many little people do that?
To me,
We
that
all. Good.
to me, that was a big driving factor because as soon as I got successful, then I did get a little more, not lazy, but
Complacent?
Yeah, complacent. Because when I had someone tell me I can't do it, and then as soon as someone says, "Oh, you fell out," oh, that's what I need. I need someone to say that.
Yeah. Instead of everybody telling you how good you are, you need somebody to be
Yeah, I
like,
need somebody.
where'd you go?
So were y'all always good? Like from when you were 8 years, 7 years old, always?
I was
No.
small.
Yeah. I was a terrible baseball player at 12 years old.
I was a fat kid.
I was tall. I was like normal size, and I was like 140 pounds. I was 12 years old.
I think I was a big leaguer at 12 years old. For sure I was going to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
broke the home run record in Little League. I literally thought I was going to get a first round pick. And
How many fightings did you wear around your neck?
Bro.
Well, I feel like if you're from California though, you're wearing a fight.
Absolutely.
That's one of the things. Hold on.
100%.
Don't you think like you're coming from Southern California? You said Northern California.
Southern SoCal.
Southern California. Don't you think like they got the fighting necklaces on? They got the
The
That
seashells.
was the swag back then.
They got the
Oh,
like.
you got a
they're
Puka
like-
shell?
they're like-
Come on.
They got the whole.
Corey, bro.
They got to grab on the short and they're rounding it like this just to make it look cool on video. You know what I mean?
You had the twisted one too. You had the double.
Oh, you had the double fight.
Double fighting.
Balanced on both ends.
God,
Yeah.
Straw, we used to love smacking teams from California when we were like 12 playing travel ball, huh?
Teams like the show.
Just kidding. No, they smacked us.
Oh, yeah.
We got
Oh, yeah.
we got beat by them every
What
time.
was like baseball like for y'all in New Mexico?
well,
You had to go to like
We had one place you could play at
one
if you wanted to go.
Albuquerque Baseball Academy, and if you're any bit good, you were there. If not, you're playing.
What was the team like? What were the little leagues like?
Little leagues were, I think it was just one little league was pretty much stacked with all the players. There was a couple players at other little leagues that you look out for, but nothing
Yeah.
much. It was almost like a guaranteed ticket into state or whatever. But we grew up playing
We
with
went-
wood bats in high school,
Yeah.
so
We went to we
What?
played Little League together. We should have played in the same high school together, but I went to a private school. I wish we would have been able to, but his school was nasty. They win state like every year. But the thing about New Mexico baseball is like if you don't get out and go play in Arizona, or if you don't go out and go play in Texas, or you don't go play in Colorado at any of these showcases, you're screwed. Because no one's gonna see. What about Pennsylvania? It's
I
the
mean, I
same
think
thing,
it's,
right?
I think if you're good enough, some people will find you. But what I think going elsewhere to is realizing how good other people are,
Absolutely.
and how good you think you are, and how much you realize like,
Bro,
I'm not very good.
I was facing 70 miles an hour in high school, bro.
Yeah.
I go to LSU and I see 94 opening weekend against Maryland. I'm like, what are we?
Yeah.
Like, what? I've never seen anything like
Seriously.
this before in my life. And then we go in the SEC play and everybody's throwing 94. And then you get into pro ball the next year and it's another wake up call because in pro ball, people are starting to make the ball dance at 94, up to 99. Every single arm out of the bullpen is electric and it's just a different, it's
And you
different
gotta whip
skip
that.
in New
You guys
Mexico.
feel like
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
massive jump between AA.
That's what I was just gonna
and
ask.
big leagues, like pitching wise. I know.
yeah. What about like just like between rookie ball? Like what about all the levels? Like what's
Bro.
the
I'll tell you this.
My
rookie
personal-
ball down, that is, it's tough to hit there.
My personal
There's 100
opinion.
miles an hour coming from everywhere.
My personal opinion is, I mean, bro, I think AA to the big leagues is smart. I mean, well, I don't know. Now, like the way everything's been working with the way the leagues are, and younger guys are moving faster, and people didn't play for a whole year. When Breggs and I were in Corpus, bro, they're like the San Antonio Missions bullpen. Like I'll never forget. Like every single guy is throwing 96 plus, and they're throwing right-handed and left-handed, and it's like you don't get any harder than this. Then you go to AAA, and I feel like AAA is more location. You've got a catcher
But
that's
the stuff was a step down.
the stuff is a step down, but you have a catcher who's very smart, right? So he's reading you in the box. Where a lot of pitchers are just up there throwing whatever the hell you call.
So-
Now you got a catcher back there being like, okay, I can see this hole, I can see you do this, I can see you do that. Where then you get to the big leagues and it's like here's 98 at the top of the zone, get on top of my four-seamer or go home. And you've been facing backdoor cutters and right-on-right changeups for the last year in AAA when it's
yeah.
you know, and I feel like AA arms were more impressive to where if you would go to the big leagues out of AA, you're on the heater.
The biggest changes from college to pro ball.
Not even close.
It's not even close. It's like right out of college into like, hey, this dude's throwing 97 to sink. What is that? I've never seen that before in my freaking life.
You think we'll ever see college switch to wood bat?
No.
No, never.
No shot.
No. I just think the market in metal bats is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Then again, I was on Victus's site today, $230 for a wood bat. Sorry, Jared. But holy cow. You know?
It's crazy.
I mean, metal bats is where it's at. That's where it's at.
Hey.
Metal bats is where it's at. No, 45 day warranty.
What's it
I saw that on
cost?
the website.
What's it cost to start? Like, if I said tomorrow I want to be a rapper, what's it cost me to get going?
Or get you a studio.
It's so cheap nowadays. You can literally. There's people doing 100% of everything on their iPhone. You can do it all start to finish on your iPhone. Now, it takes a certain type of tenacity to figure it out to really, get it all going. But this, all reality, you can do it all from your
I
iPhone.
guess you're right, Island Boys.
But even like
Cameo.
Yeah, even a personal setup though is like, there's different levels to it. And what I've always been taught by the greats is that it doesn't matter what the equipment you have, it's the person behind it. So the engineer or producer or whoever's doing what to it, that's always key, more important than having because people will be, I spent $1 million on this, but they don't know how the hell to use it. You know what I'm saying?
So you're a producer. All your dudes could make Straub sound good if we got in the studio.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh,
No, like you could actually make them sound good.
Funny thing, I did a verse with Paul one time. I got out of the booth. I said, Paul, what you got? Give me some feedback. He goes, man, to be honest with you, a lot of guys will go home, sleep on it, reread the thing, play it out in their head. Let's just try that one.
Paul, who are your top 5 rappers of all time?
Top five.
You talked about legends just a second ago. Who are your legends, or who are your just top 5 rappers of all time?
All my personal favorites are all underground or more regional, local. Lil Kiki's definitely my favorite. He's my favorite rapper. He started the Houston style that we have come to know now. That's going worldwide. But shout out to Lil Kiki. He's my favorite. Also, Pimp C. He's another one of my favorites. Fat Pat. All 3 of them from Houston. Then Rich the Factor. He's from Kansas City. He's an underground independent rapper. He's been rapping for 15 plus years, maybe 20 years. He's easily got 100 different albums out. And he's one of my real inspirations, just to see somebody who does what they love and to see him hustle and grind. He's like, he would, a lot of his stuff coming up was all underground independent when he was doing street stuff, so he wasn't doing no videos. His whole grind is a different type of grind where he'll go city to city and it's all there with the people, in their face. It's not anything for fame or likes or clout, so just to see him grind it out and have so many albums and everyone just top notch, his wordplay, everything, his beat selection. He's definitely one of my favorites, Rich the Factor. And then the Jacker, he's another. I put him at my number 5. Rest in peace to the Jacker. He's a rapper from the Bay Area. But they're all the artists I said, other than Pimp C, probably the most mainstream of those. And he's from UGK, Underground King. So even then, it's all underground. My favorite rappers.
You talking about grind? Paul's got some grind to him. Straub and I took him to the gym like 3 years ago.
He's doing ladders, hurdles.
Oh, bro.
I kept the throw-up bucket full.
Did you end up throwing up?
Oh man, afterwards, when we were done, I was like, I'm trying to make it.
Has there ever been a moment in your guys' career, yours as well, where you kind of were like, wow, I made it? It's like, I don't know if it's facing Kershaw or your debut, winning a World Series, but was there ever like standing next to somebody where you're like, dang, I really did this?
Shit. I don't think I ever allow myself to think like I made it. I think the minute I would think that would be like the minute I kind of fell off, like how you're talking about. I think maybe oh shit, I'm in the big leagues, wide-eyed when I go from standing ovations for the first 10 games to boos to like a year later MVP chance. And I'm like, oh fuck, this is the big leagues. But
They booed you after 10?
yeah,
Is that
I was
when
like
you-
1 for 36.
Yeah, I would say you started out a little bit slow.
I don't know, I had one more hit than you at that point. It was a rough start. But yeah, it was a booze, cheers, and then shit. I don't think I ever really thought I made it.
Damn, I didn't know Houston fans were capable of booing people. I mean, we're not New York. I mean, the Yankees fans boo each other for
Yeah, but
much less.
Like Derek Sanchez strikeout.
Yeah,
Bruh.
on opening day.
You said you
Like
said
the
you had
first
a-
at bat
First
of the
at-
season. Like,
yeah.
You said you had a moment of like when it hit you when you're in the big leagues. What moment was that? When it hit you?
There's got to be a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're out on the field, if you're
Bro.
taking your first AB.
maybe it's like a
A
maybe
game
it's
5
like
walk-off
no,
or-
it doesn't feel like any of that until you actually like. All right, first homer in the big leagues. I'll say that first homer, oppo homer down the right field line because you don't feel like you're in the big leagues or a part of the team until you actually contribute to a win. Like when you get up there, you're like, I'm like tiptoeing around trying to find my way, trying to like, okay, yes sir, all this stuff. And then it's like, you don't really feel at all a part of the team until you're like, okay, I contributed for a while. I'm a guy now, let's go. This will be me. But what I tell people to do is like, come up and be yourself. Like, don't worry about anything. Play your style of baseball. Like, Siri came up this year, played his style of baseball, bro.
He's still playing his style.
Energy, bro. Energy. It's September. We needed it. It's
Yeah.
like bring the energy.
Yeah.
Bro,
You gotta have it.
He beat out that little chopper in game 2 of the World Series, game 1 or game 2.
Absolutely.
Oh my, it was electric. I was hammered drunk in the Michelob Ultra Club. The Apollo boys were with us. That moment was like, I knew we were going to win game 2. Like, that's what, I mean, that, like,
Paul
as a
did
fan.
shit. Paul was going crazy behind those plays.
Oh, okay.
I lost my voice that game.
Yeah. Korey, have you asked other big leaguers, like, for advice? Like, obviously, you
being
hit,
being around these guys.
You hit with
it's-
these guys,
yeah,
so.
it's crazy.
He
But
got his. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. He don't need it. Like he's fucking
making the
locked in.
move out here and watching these guys do it. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like you do all this work and like you're doing all this work and then I guarantee you asked me in like 5 years, I'm gonna remember this because it's useful. But right now it's like I'm doing it because I know it's the right thing to do. I gotta put my head down and then once I do hopefully get there, then it's just like, okay, I got here, now what else do I gotta do? Like what how else can I contribute and what can I do to help? Because that's what you want to do. You just want to help, and you want to contribute, and you want to win. Like that's the end of the day.
It's all right. We're gonna be locked out for your first big league season.
Yeah, true.
You know,
Facts.
They going to figure that out?
what do you got, Finn?
We can finish.
Hey, that was a smooth joke.
Anybody got a coin?
You might as well. flip
Anybody
a
got a
coin.
coin? Just flip it.
What about you, Fish? What about when you made your
When was
breakthrough
your
in the big
moment?
leagues? Yeah, what was your
When
moment?
was your moment?
I think
It was pretty cool to listen
I
to
think-
you hit a home run off Otani. That was pretty cool
Yeah.
to listen to.
probably when I mean
This has some big moments in his big league.
my
career.
first hit was a homer. Let's not forget about
Yeah.
that.
He has
was
a
a-
pivotal run scored that will never be forgotten and will go down in history as the best run scored in the history of the best baseball game.
Best
of all
baseball
time.
game of all time.
90
So,
feet.
Of all time. Like, not even close.
90 feet. That's all I had.
Yeah.
to
He
do.
almost fell down.
180 feet.
Would have fucked it up.
No chance. No chance.
What were you thinking going out there when they told
I
you?
mean, it was so fast. It was so fast. I mean,
Yeah.
it happens. I mean, there was 2 outs and he swung at the first.
Oh, yeah, so 2 outs, you were running.
And I was
anyway,
just,
so,
I mean,
yeah.
I thought I was going to blow out. I thought it
Yeah.
was running the slowest I've ever ran in my life.
Is that the fastest you ever ran?
I don't
Gotta
know.
be
Probably
right.
not.
You
I
know,
don't know.
what did that moment feel like? Was it just
Nothing?
pure tunnel vision? Was it
Ridiculous.
blackout?
That was a
Ridiculous.
sick pop-up slide, bro. Like in the playoffs
Yeah.
this year, they showed Trey Turner sliding in, and like it was all smooth
Oh,
when he
smooth,
slid
pop-
in the
yeah,
home
pop
plate.
right up, yeah.
Fisher slid in and was like, "Let's go."
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, no, I forgot.
On the clip, Will.
Just
Like-
the fact that you guys did that together.
Yeah.
into the system.
No, I mean, we came up together too, and like, I mean,
We ate fast food together.
Whataburger all the time.
All the time.
I mean, we started Lancaster together, but a lot of it is just like, I mean, we got kind of lucky too. I mean, the organization was a joke. I mean, we got to play with big leaguers every day. I mean, AJ Reed and JD Davis, and we got to play with all these guys every day. So it's like that was like little
Didn't
competition.
Lance come up with y'all too?
Lance a little before us, but like you had Lance and you had Rio Ruiz and you had Carlos, and they were all a little before us. Teoscar is like, he's a joke. I mean,
He's so good.
so many good players that we got to play with, and then it's like Musgrove, dude. I mean, it goes on, and it's like we played with all of them, and you start to see how people work, and then like this cat works harder than anybody. So then you start to see it's like, okay, like it's not a secret, and also ain't just handed to you. So like,
bro, we got after it. We had it was a fun team to be on too, because we would just roll people, bro.
we had fun. I mean, but then it was like there was a competition too. Yeah, like we were playing in like we were playing playoffs all the time. Like we were always clinching, and obviously people are always like moaning and groaning about playing in the playoffs in the minor leagues. But like then you look back and it's like, dude, some people never ever once got to play for a championship ever in the minor leagues, and we're here complaining that we're doing it every year.
I never played for a loser in my life. I've never played for a losing, like, never.
No, and that's the thing. It just becomes then it's like no, you don't get used to it. It becomes like
I
it's
can't
like
think of a team that lost.
That's
I've been on.
a cool.
you don't get used to it, but then it becomes like I don't know. I think about in college. Like I got to college and
You played at Virginia, right?
Virginia, yeah. And we started like I want to say we started like 7-5 my freshman year, and I'm like, oh, this ain't too bad. We're all right. We're okay. But like the feel and like the vibe, I was like, no, I'm way off. This is really bad. We're terrible. We need to win. We can't lose another game. And then from that point, like that moment forward, it wasn't like, nah, like you don't win so much. We get used to winning. It's like it almost becomes like I'm used to winning all the time. So now I'm gonna make sure like I don't ever want to lose. You know what I'm saying? Like Virginia put that in me, and then playing in the minor leagues, like we were talking about, like we never lost. But it's not like we didn't care if we lost. We just won so much that it was like, let's just make sure we never lose.
Let's never lose.
Yeah.
Peace. Off the bat. It's fun.
H-Town to K-Town. That's right. Rich Facts Part What? We count the paper in H-Town. We count the paper in K-Town. Finna hit LA now. Then we're making our Bay rounds. After that, we head east. Count the paper in Philly.